I is retired. Yes, sir. One day conference on records of rights and land loss. Shyamsundar Patil. Yes.
First of all, I thank you, CA Ramesh Prabhuji, to give me such a nice opportunity to interact with you all. Land is a very vast subject, and there are many acts, many rules, regulation, code involved in it. And therefore, not a single person can say that I have full knowledge of all the laws relating to land. If you go in the history, you will see that Vasco da Gama came in search of land, in search of India, and in initial phase there were wars, and now also on land. We have emotional attachment towards land, especially farmers are very much attached. Sometimes it happens that म्हणजे बांधावरून असे वाद होतात की त्यामध्ये खून सुद्धा, आणि ऑन द अदर साइड आपण मातृभूमीवर प्रेम करतो. सी लँड इज अ लिमिटेड aspect. Population grows by geometrical proportion, arithmetical proportion. ज्यावेळेस जमीन ही लिमिटेड आहे आणि लोकसंख्येचा स्फोट होतो आहे, तर त्याचा लोड येतोय, जमिनीची डिमांड वाढते आणि त्यातनं मग वाद विवाद निर्माण होतात, आणि त्यामुळे आपलं काम सुद्धा वाढत चाललंय, आपलं इम्पॉर्टन्स वाढत चाललंय. पण दुर्दैवानं लँड लॉस बद्दलचं पूर्ण नॉलेज असलेले ॲडव्होकेट्स आपल्याकडे कमी आहेत. कारण याच्यामध्ये इनसाइडर व्ह्यू काय आहे, हाऊ रेव्हेन्यू मशिनरी इम्प्लिमेंट लँड लॉज इज, आपल्या वकिलांना त्याची कल्पना नसते. आता मी जी काही पॉवर पॉईंट स्लाइड्स तयार केलेल्या आहेत, त्या अशासाठी केलेल्या आहेत की आपल्याला पहिल्यांदा इंट्रोडक्टरी त्याचे कन्सेप्ट समजून जाईल. मग आपण विल गो इन टू डिटेल्स ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट. रेकॉर्ड ऑफ राईट. फर्स्ट I will start with, collector. Why collector is known as collector? Can anybody tell me? He collects the revenue. When Britishers came, they were more interested in money and revenue. Therefore, they appointed collectors in charge of the district in India. And his main duty was to collect revenue. Therefore, he was known as collector. Then Britishers used land to earn more money and exploit resources from India. But one of the best thing they did is, of course, for themselves to collect revenue, they surveyed whole of India. There was one Lieutenant Colonel F.G.H. Anderson. He was responsible for the same in 1940s. But the record they prepared with Shankhu Sakri is such an accurate record that even today, which we measure through total station or what you call latest equipments, we are not able to find that much accuracy. And he has studied land record in such a detailed manner that he has given his guidance in Anderson's manual. Even quality of paper for Satbara should be of what type he has prescribed. Now, what is record of right? Rights means हक्क. या हक्कांची नोंद आपल्या तलाठ्याच्या अभिलेखात जी घेतली जाते त्याला रेकॉर्ड ऑफ राईट असं म्हणतात. विच रेकॉर्ड ऑफ तलाठी इज नोन एज रेकॉर्ड ऑफ राईट? देर आर मेनली 3 types of records. One is mutation entry register, second is Satbara, and third is Sat, then Bara, and there are certain other allied registers also. Talati maintains registers of 21 types in his record, out of which these 6, 7 and 12 are the most important. Satbara Satbara का म्हटलं जातं? Can anybody tell me? Please write. See, Talati maintains record in 21 formats. 21 types of registers. Village form number 7 and village form number 12, when shown on same paper, it is called as Satbara, because in upper part there is village form number 7, in lower part is village form number 12, and that extract of those registers is called Satbara. And in village form number 7 there are details about rights, and in village form number 12 there are details about crop entries or the person who cultivates that land. Okay, I think some of you may not be able to see, but I'll share this slide. Okay, We will be sharing this PowerPoint presentation, but I will be editing first and then I will share. Okay. See what particulars are recorded in record of right. Main record of right is Satbara, and in village form number 7, these details are there: occupants, mortgages, name of the lessees, tenants, nature and extent of interest, then rent and revenue payable by such persons. I will show you in one slide Satbara also. This was a format I had prepared. Actually, I have both side experience, insider as well as outsider. I had an opportunity to go on special extraordinary leave without pay from government, and I worked in one real estate firm as vice president land acquisition, and also I was faculty member in one institute for real estate diploma in business management. Then see, these are the columns I used to prepare so that, see, title search, your question, how title search is performed. Title search, you may take it by two methods. One is going through the history from the record in mutation entries, mutation entry register, and second is from sub-registrar's office where your documents are registered. Okay, so this format is useful for going through oldest mutation entry and latest mutation entry, how the ownership is transferred, ownership of that land is transferred. Okay, next. This is Sadwara. Here you will find that at the top there is name of village, taluka, then on left side survey number, Hissa number, then tenure. Now tenure, there are three types of tenure: occupant class 1, occupant class 2, occupant class 3. Occupant class 1 tenure means such a land, see, there is one central column that is भोगवटादाराचे नाव, म्हणजे occupant's name. Land, you say this is my land, but this is partially true, because whatever land on which we are, it all belongs to government. We are mere occupants of the land, and occupants are of three types as such. Occupant class 1 means it is such a land for which if you want to sell it, transfer it, no permission of government is required. And occupant class 2 is such a land for which you have to take permission from the collector, government, to transfer such land. And occupant class 3 is land belonging to government or government lease. Then see, on left side, this is survey number, this is Hissa number, this is Bhudarna Paddhati, that is 1 means occupant class 1. Here this local name of the farm, okay, it is Gar Devicha something. Then here there are details relating to area, cultivable and non-cultivable area of that piece of land. And because non-cultivable, that is Port Kharaba, there is no Shetsara for that. Shetsara is charged only on cultivable land. And all these entries in Sadbara are somehow or the other way related to other registers maintained by Talati. Okay. Now in occupants column, there are certain numbers written within circle. Can anyone tell me what are those numbers? These are mutation entry numbers. Mutation entry register is as important as Sadbara as such, because they are maintained separate for every village, and in which title, how it is transferred for that survey number from someone to other by way of heirship, by way of transfer, by way of sale, and any rights created or charges created, all is written in serial way, date wise. I will show you village form number 6 columns also after this. Here the name of the occupant is written, and this mutation entry states that his name has been entered in Sadbara by this mutation entry. So if you want to know how his name appeared on this Sadbara and who were his predecessors, then you will have to compile all these numbers. You will have to apply to Talati for getting certified extract of those mutation entries, and just organize those mutation entries in ascending manner, date wise. You will realize कि from Shivaji Maharaj period to today's time, how the ownership of land has been transferred. Okay. Now, this third one is other rights column as such. Here खाते क्रमांक is written 160. खाते क्रमांक म्हणजे काय? In bank, you earlier used to know that is ledger folio number. That means खाता. त्या रजिस्टर मध्ये वेगवेगळे खाते मेंटेन केलेले असायचे आपल्या कस्टमर्सचे. तसं विलेज वाईज there are खाते register, खाते नोंदवही, and in that register, खाता register, there used to be there is khata of every person residing in that village who holds land, and on that page name of the all survey numbers, hissa numbers are stated, showing the area held by that person in that village. It is also useful to see whether land ceiling is exceeded or not. So generally whenever you apply for any sort of permission with the collector office, they will say खाते उतारा घेऊन या, कारण त्याच्यावरनं तुमचं सिलिंग लिमिट एक्सीड झालंय का ते त्याच्यावरून त्यांना समजतं. ओके, दिस इज विलेज फॉर्म नंबर 7. बिलो दॅट इट इज नॉट शोन हियर, बट बिलो दॅट देर इज विलेज फॉर्म नंबर 12, in which there are entries relating to crops. That means what type of crops have been cultivated in that farm, and those entries are year wise entries, and Satbara is maintained for 10 years, and after that again there is rewriting of Satbara and proclamation of new Satbara. Why it is so? Because there is space in village form number 12 only for 12 years entries. Therefore there is a provision that after 10 years it will be rewritten, and those old names will be deleted, and the only current name will be maintained on that village form number 7, and village form number 12 will be blank for further 10 years. Here there is one column that is कुळाचे नाव, means name of the tenant. See, कसेल त्याची जमीन हे तत्व आपण भारत ऍक्सेप्ट केलेलं आहे, and therefore 1st April 1957 is known as Tillers Day, and those persons who were cultivating that land on that day, their names have been compiled in a detailed list as tenant, and their names were entered here as tenant, so that just by merely paying few hundred rupees and applying to the Tahsildar, who is also known as Agricultural Land Tribunal, he gets purchase price fixed and he becomes owner of that land. Because earlier there were absentee landlordism. I'll come to that subject later. Okay, this is village form number 7, and then below it is village form number 12, and this is property. Okay, now there is a difference between Satbara and property. Satbara is the original record which Britishers used to maintain. At that time there were villages. India lived in villages, but now urbanization has gone up, and therefore city surveys were conducted, especially from 1960 onward or so. When city survey is conducted in any village or any town, then inquiries were conducted of the ownership of those plots of land which are shown in Satbara. And someone asked information about inquiry register. There is section 20 in Land Revenue Code. What does it say? If any person applies, or if any question arises whether that land belongs to government or non-government person, then inquiry is conducted by the revenue officer. For that inquiry, that officer, maybe circle, maybe Tahsildar, maybe deputy collector, he is revenue court and he has powers of civil court. He conducts summary inquiry, and in that inquiry he decides who is the owner of that plot. And this procedure was conducted during city survey, and inquiry registers were prepared for those plot of lands. And therefore sometimes because of ignorance and somebody was absent, somebody thought of land ची काही प्राइस जास्त नाही आहे, काय असेल तर मी काय आय डोंट बॉदर, त्यामुळे मुंबईमध्ये असे अनेक मोठे चंक ऑफ लँड्स आहेत की जे वॉचमन म्हणून जिथे काम करायचे त्यांची नावं त्याला लागले गेले, आणि ते लागल्यानंतर तेच ओनर झाले, आणि लँड गॉट प्रेशियस व्हॅल्यू नाव. मग त्यानंतर किती लिटिगेशन झाले तरी मग त्यांचे नाव उडू शकले नाहीत, किंवा ते कुठेतरी फॉरेनला गेलेले असणार, नंतर आले नाही, नंतर त्याने फॉलोअप केलं नाही. पण त्यामुळे we should be aware of our rights. Law never helps those who sleep over their rights. Whenever, now also, in 1940s there was servant settlement in India by Anderson, but after that, actually as per procedure, every 30 years settlement should be done, but till now there is no settlement done. Okay, settlement means settling the शेत सारा, म्हणजे त्या जमिनीचा मजदूर बघून त्याचं मोजणी पण करून त्यानुसार त्याला किती शेतसारा लागतो. आता हे बघा, हा शेतसारा दिसतोय, सॉरी इथं खाली असेल 25, हा शेतसारा डिटरमाइन 40 साली, अँड टिल नाऊ दॅट लँड रेव्हेन्यू हॅज नॉट बीन अपडेटेड. आय थिंक इफ एनी गव्हर्नमेंट डज दॅट, that government will not be elected. Therefore, nobody has dared to increase agricultural income tax or agricultural tax. So it is still as a 25, but 25 paisas at that time in 1940 was a big amount. Okay, so this is village form number 7, and in property card there is no village form number 12, means because in city there are no crops. So this format has been upgraded to include the part of the document which will give information relating to land in urban area. For example, city survey number, area, then whatever शेत सारा बिन शेती सारा गव्हर्नमेंटला देणं लागतो तो, any easement rights, who was the original holder and who was lessee, etc., etc. And then these columns are very important. In these columns, date, transaction, volume number, name of the holder, and attestation. In this column, almost all mutation details in short of the mutation entries are entered here, from which on the face of it you know who was the original owner, how the land transferred to another, and how present owner came on the property card. Okay, next slide please. See, this is village form number 6, फेरफाराची नोंदवही. त्याच्यामध्ये गावाचं नाव, तालुक्याचं नाव, जिल्ह्याचं नाव, and mutation entry number. Your type of right, whether by heirship, whether by purchase, mortgage, or any type. Here this is date of mutation entry and details of mutation entry, and here there are remarks of certifying officer, and these are the survey numbers, HISA numbers which are affected by this mutation entry, and this is signature of Talati. Whenever, I will come to that later on also, but whenever you acquire any right relating to land, suppose you purchased 10 acres of land in Panvel Taluka, Chikle village, okay, then by registered deed, then what, as such for registered deed you are exempted from giving vardi. But you know, वर्दी मीन्स इन्फॉर्मेशन. आप पुलिस स्टेशन जाते हो, वर्दी देते हो, फर्स्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन. वैसा यू हैव टू गिव इन्फॉर्मेशन रिलेटिंग टू द राइट यू एक्वायर्ड रिलेटिंग टू दैट लैंड. And you know what is the fine if you don't inform within 3 months from acquisition right? It is 5 rupees. Okay, it is not revised. Okay, so when you acquire any land by way of purchase, you intimate. As such, it is not required in case of registration, because sub-registrar who registers your deed has responsibility to send all the data, whatever lands were purchased or dealt with by him in a month in apatrak, and then that apatrak goes to Talati and Tasildar every month, and Talati is supposed to take entries in. It is not happening because you know, best known to Talati why he is not entering those. Okay,
So that means the sub-registrar whether he is sending,
he has to send it.
he has to send.
But now, as someone asked me about mutation entry, online mutation entry, as such it should also happen, because now sub-register office, Talati office, Tasildar office are linked by way of software, and online mutation entries are happening, and intimations are given on mobile to the khatedar, and ultimately the mutation entries are certified. That human interference is reduced, but somewhere it might also be not happening. Okay, but earlier pattern I am telling you, when you intimate any information, he will, this is a running number, 746 means after 745, 746, then on 25th October 1944 it was entered, and in which this person has purchased this land in 12th September 44 for 150 rupees, something like that. Here it is certified by circle officer, because any mutation entry posted by Talati, he issues notices to the all concerned hit sambandhit, and then waits for 15 days if any objection comes, and after 15 days if there are no objections, he certifies the entries, and then effect of this certified mutation entry is taken in on Satbara. Suppose now this person has purchased land from this person, so this person is gone, so he will just bracket the name of outgoing person and incoming name will be written after that, and mutation entry number will be inserted on Sadvara. This is deleted, his name is deleted, he is gone. Pencil entry is not done nowadays because it was misused. Pencil entry was when mutation entry is given. Tentative entry was done on Sadvara by pencil. After certification it got confirmed and पक्क्या शाईने मग त्याची एंट्री व्हायची. तर आता पेन्सिल एंट्री यू जस्ट फॉरगेट, इट इज गॉन. ओके, नेक्स्ट. हां, दिस इज खाते उतारा. म्हणजे खाते वही जी असते की त्या खाते वहीमध्ये प्रत्येक खातेदाराच्या नावावर, समजा प्रमोद पाटील याच्या नावावर ह्या गावामध्ये एवढे सर्वे नंबर्स आणि एवढे क्षेत्र त्याच्या नावावर आहे. टोटल क्षेत्र 2 हेक्टर 46 आर त्याच्या नावावर आहे आणि त्याचा शेतसारा एवढा होतोय. हे ब्रिटिशर्सचं पॅटर्न आहे. त्या माणसाकडून त्या गावातला किती शेतसारा गोळा करायला पाहिजे ते याच्यामध्ये, पण आता शेतसाऱ्यासाठी त्याचा वापर होत नाही. आता फक्त त्याचं हे टोटल क्षेत्र जे आहे ते सिलिंग लिमिटच्या वर एक्सिड होतं का हे बघण्यासाठी 8चा उतारा कलेक्टर ऑफिस किंवा तहसील ऑफिस मागत असतं. देन एव्हरी इंडिव्हिज्युअल हू ओन्स लँड in that village, all the pieces of lands and Shetsaara due from him will be in that Khate Utara. Okay. Now, evidentiary value. There is misunderstanding with the people that yes, my name is there on Satbara, so this land belongs to me. But it is not completely true, because entry in record of right, that is mutation entry or Satbara, it is a presumptive proof. Means if you produce it in the High Court, Supreme Court or any court, court will believe that yes, by way of that mutation entry you are the owner. But it is presumptive, it is not conclusive, because conclusive title comes from only registered deed. Title passes through registration. It is a settled law in Supreme Court that mutation entries and Sadvara are a presumptive record, and it doesn't give you any title, right or interest, and title doesn't passes by way of mutation entry. It is only fiscal record for collection of land revenue, which the system created by British.
तुम्ही काय करा, if you Google it, you will get n number of judgments which says that even high courts have ruled that entries in the 712 extract or revenue records are not conclusive evidence. Just because the names are appearing in the property card does not mean that you are a owner. It should be backed by the what is known
registered deeds.
as registered conveyance deed, transfer deed under the Transfer of Property Act. So, yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
You may refer section 157 of Maharashtra Land Revenue Code 1966, and you may find commentary after that section also if you purchase Gupte Dige's book. Okay. 157. Then intimation of transfers by registering officer. I already told you, registering officer has to give intimation to Tahsildar and Talati every month by way of a patrak, and therefore you are not required to give worthy or information of acquisition of right. Therefore, you will not be charged 5 rupees for not intimating talati.
Just 1 minute, just he has referred section 157, I'll just read it. Presumption of correctness of entries in record of rights and register of mutations. 157 of Maharashtra Land Revenue Code 1966. An entry in the record of rights and a certified entry in the register of mutations shall be presumed to be the true until the contrary is proved or a new entry is lawfully substituted therefore. Which means it is a presumptive title, it is not a conclusive title. How you get a conclusive title? Through a record of index 2 or registered conveyance deed.
प्रोबेट पेंडिंग आहे. आता ते काय आहे, आपण काही केलं पण ते करता आहे तर त्यातून तुम्ही लिटिगेशन विकत घेताय की काय, यू आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर युअर ओन ऍक्शन. ओके, देर इज विल, प्रोबेट होत राहणार आहे. आता समजा उदाहरणार्थ 7/12 वर तुमच्या वडिलांनी 6 व्यक्तीला जमीन विकली, पण त्याचं नाव आलेलं नाही. त्याने खरेदी केल्यावर तुमचंच नाव कंटिन्यू झालं. ओके, त्याच्याने तुम्ही ओनर राहत नाही, केवळ नाव आहे तिथे म्हणून. त्याने खरेदी केलं, टायटल विल पास ऑन टू हिम. ही कॅन अगेन सेल इट टू समबडी एल्स. लँड रेकॉर्ड मे नॉट बी अपडेटेड. आणि हे आपण प्रिझम्पटिव्ह प्रूफ का म्हणतोय, कारण अपील करून, रिव्हिजन करून, रिव्ह्यू करून, रेक्टिफिकेशन करून ती म्युटेशन एंट्री जर सेट असाइड झालं तर दुसऱ्याचं नाव लगेच येऊ शकतं त्यामध्ये, म्हणून ते प्रिझम्पटिव्ह. आणि प्रोबेटच्या बद्दल म्हटलं ना तर प्रोबेट इज अ प्रोसेस. त्याने रजिस्टर करून, ही नोज दॅट विल इज जेन्युइन. ओके, विल इज जेन्युइन. प्रोबेट यथावकाश येईल तर त्या तलाठ्याने ते प्रोबेट बघणं आवश्यक आहे. पण प्रोबेटच्या बद्दल सुद्धा असं आहे, प्रोबेट इज ऍप्लिकेबल ओनली फॉर मुंबई, मद्रास अँड कलकत्ता प्रेसिडेन्सी टाउन्स, नॉट इन अदर प्लेसेस इन इंडिया.
ओके, तुमचं एकच सांगतो, व्हॉट ही इज आस्किंग, वेन द विल विच इज टू बी प्रोबेटेड, विच इज पेंडिंग, ओके, विच मीन्स in the High Court, can the beneficiaries of the will enter into a sale transaction? So he can do by mentioning all this aspect in the conveyance deed.
Excuse me, I explained that point. Will आणि probate, that's a different part. जेव्हा will ला तुम्ही challenge करता, that's a legal document, is called High Court mentioned that document is a valid. But your question is that, पण जेव्हा हम लोग फाइल करते हैं केस तो वहाँ स्टेटस को होता है या स्टे ऑर्डर, दैट यू फाइल अटैच विथ हिम, या कैविएट जो भी वो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे होंगे उनको ये पॉइंट, या तो उनको ये पॉइंट पता होगा कि कोई भी एप्लीकेशन या ऑर्डर फाइल करने से पहले कैविएट, और जो भी अभी विल का बोल रहे हो, अभी हमें लग रहा है कि मतलब वहाँ पे कुछ तो गड़बड़ होने वाला है, तो देन यू सैग्रीगेट दैट पॉइंट्स आल्सो. हाउ, आप स्टेटस को लो या स्टे ऑर्डर ले लो और वो पॉइंट अलग कर दो. नोबडी कैन चैलेंज दैट पॉइंट्स. और वहां पे जो जैसे था स्टेटस को का मीनिंग एडवोकेट्स नो ऑल बडी नेम्स, सो ए सिंपल वे स्टेटस को जैसे थे वैसे ही रहो, दैट एंट्री फ्रीज. ओके,
ओके, नेक्स्ट.
याच्यावर कोणाचा काय प्रश्न आहे का? जस्ट गो बॅक. एनीबडी हॅज एनी क्वेश्चन ऑन दिस रेकॉर्ड ऑफ राइट्स, एव्हिडन्स ऑफ व्हॅल्यू ऑफ रेकॉर्ड्स which we discussed now? 157, intimation of transfer by registering officers and fine for neglect to afford information, that is 5 rupees. Okay, go ahead.
Now this is very important aspect. One should understand how mutation entries are affected in record of right. Already if you acquire any land by way of purchase, then within 3 months you report it to talati. Now there is one format, prescribed application, and there are certain document list also on other side of that prescribed application. You have to submit it along with other supplementary documents and give it to talati. Talati will give you acknowledgement, and if you don't take acknowledgement, then I don't know how much time he will take for, because when you get acknowledgement he is bound to act on that. Okay, after 15 days, if no objections are received, circle officer certifies. Certifying authority is not talati. Certifying officer is aval karkun or above. Even collector can certify, SDO can certify, Tahsildar can certify. But generally circle officers certify these mutation entries. And once talati receives intimation from you about acquisition of right, then he will see whose names are there on 7/12, who are interested in that property. Then he will issue notices in form 9 to all the interested persons, so that they will come to know that somebody is trying to insert his name in record of right. And later on, within 15 days, if no objection comes, then circle officer certifies this mutation entry, and effect of this certified mutation entry is given in Satbara, and Satbara is updated accordingly. Okay. But suppose someone objects to that mutation entry, saying that he is wrongly claiming right and he has produced fraudulent document or something like that, whatever, then he enters that complaint into Vivadaspad Ferfar Nondwahi, that is disputed mutation entry register, and then intimates circle officer that there is one mutation entry which is being objected. Then circle officer fixes hearing. Here circle officer is a revenue court. He has powers of the civil court. He can summon, he can issue even warrant, and he can ask anybody to produce documents as evidence. He hears both the parties, he analyzes, and he passes judgment or order in that mutation entry. And after that is passed, then entry is effect is given in Satbara.